Yo, what up? This is Rich, your favorite tech career coach, and today I'm going to give you a step-by-step playbook on how to go ahead and pass the CompTIA A plus certification in the next 20 days, basically without a technical background, an IT background, or a computer science degree. I know that sounds clickbaity AF, but I'm really holding nothing back. I'm giving you the following resources. I'm going to give you the entire checklist of all the items that you need to go ahead and basically knock off. So when it comes time for you to schedule the real exam, you're going to be able to go out there and absolutely schedule that exam with confidence, know that you're going to go out there and crush it. I'm going to be walking you through all of the resources, the digital flashcards, the questions, the study guides that we basically put together for y'all, everything, even this little hack here with the mind map. I'm packaging everything it all up into steal the resources. Everything is basically yours. All you got to go ahead and do is just access Tech Career School. It's my own online community. You can go out there and access everything over there, but I'm going to do you guys one better. Instead of just giving you the resources, basically what this video is going to be is I'm going to show you that the first place that you want to go ahead and tackle this exam is actually learning the vocab. I've compiled all the vocabulary words already for you onto the flashcards. I already have everything for you onto a spreadsheet. These vocab words come directly from the glossary that's in CompTIA, and I'm going to be walking you through a game plan that people that I've worked with or people that I've interviewed and people that I've met in this business has basically utilized. So I'm not just going to go out there and give you like, here's a spreadsheet, here's some flashcards, like, now go figure it out. I'm going to actually walk you through what's worked out for them so you don't have to spend additional time figuring out how to memorize these vocab words. The next thing is the questions. I'm going to show you exactly what types of questions that you need to know based upon the 2025 guidelines of the CompTIA exam. Where are the percentages going to be based upon the most? How many questions are in each section? And also, I'm going to be giving you all of the questions, the explanation, all of the multiple choice responses it's designed to trick you along with the right answer. And again, I'm going to show you how to access these flashcards. Everything is inside of school. Next thing is, how are you going to memorize all of the actual course material, the modules? I'm going to show you about this really cool app. It's called Mapify. If you think this resource would help you out, I'm more than happy to go ahead and throw it in at no additional cost. I just don't want to spend my time creating these mind maps and then nobody uses it. But I'm more than happy to go out there and actually include it in there. How to go ahead and actually take the exam, because remember, it's a 90-minute exam, but you have 90 questions to get through. And then what are all the different things that you can do after you take the exam, along with all the additional resources. I have resume templates coming out, LinkedIn profile templates, additional study guides for the Network Plus, Security Plus, Certified Ethical Hacker. That along with this little checklist of like, okay, I got this part done, I got this part done, I got this part. Everything is going to be in school. Now, before I get to the good part, let's go ahead and actually don't forget to subscribe to this YouTube channel. We're creating all these hot resources for you. Help me out here. Help me help you. All right, it's free. Just click on that because you're going to want to be notified when I create all these additional guides. Trust me, you're going to want to get notified. But I want to go ahead and also address some of the probably like core questions that people even have before you invest your time, because your time is not free, right? And generally speaking, people are going to want to know like, hey, can this methodology basically work for me? It sounds a little bit too good to be true. It's opposite of what you heard from other sources. I want to go ahead and address this thing straight off the bat, because if you don't believe what it is that I'm saying, you're not going to put this into action. I ultimately want to put this into action. Having said that, all of these resources, I show you how to put it together yourself. If you want to just buy them off of us, we're just saving you the time of having to spend the next 6 hours of your life doing so. But I can tell you that these strategies, which I've gathered from people that's already passed not only this exam, the CompTIA A+, but they on average clear about 6 to 8 certifications a year. They're utilizing this game plan from multiple people. I want to go ahead and cover that for you. So, like, can this actually work out for you? Here's the big 4 in cybersecurity in terms of influencers. These are the top 4 cybersecurity influencers on YouTube, which is Abad Hamden from Australia with 236,000 YouTube subs. We have Sandra, we have Suleiman, and we have Ben Trung. And I'm not trying to start a knife fight with any of these people here, but what I've consistently heard from so many people that's DM'd me on Instagram, that's wanted to communicate with me directly, by all means follow me on IG as well, is that they've given me that this is kind of like an oversimplification of these concepts and not really being that helpful when they actually took the real exam. And like, I was like, okay, let's take a look at their backgrounds. All of them come from a 4-year degree where they were studying this for 4 years. So Ben Trung, when he has a YouTube video that says, I passed the CompTIA Security Plus in 9 days, I don't really think that it's done in 9 days, because this was done, this is 20, I'm recording this in 2025. So this video was recorded a year ago. He completed his degree. Again, I'm not trying to start a fight with anybody here, but I think when there's an oversimplification of the process, people start feeling really stupid really fast. Like, am I doing something wrong? I'm just not getting it. And I don't want people to feel like that. Is the guy has a bachelor's in management information systems where he graduated like back in 2023. So, you know, this wasn't even before he graduated college, right? Like, it's not. So he's had 4 years of actually studying, actually being engaged with these concepts. Suleiman's the same thing. He has a computer science degree from a university in the UK. So it's like, how would I learn cybersecurity fast? It's like, no, it took him about 4 years. Sandra, who's also based in New York, graduated with an IT degree back in 2019. This was also from a year ago, so this is 2024. So also is not really spending like, oh, it's like not like I really passed this thing like 6 months ago. Abed Hamdan, I have total respect for all these people. Would love to go out there and interview them on my podcast. But like, I mean, like looking at his job background, he also studied this like for bachelor's. And again, I'm not trying to start a fight with anybody, but like when people see results very quickly, but they're not getting results quickly themselves, they start feeling really stupid really fast. And even like a lot of boot camps, they don't do a really good job preparing people for the exam, which I think is really sad considering what people are paying. So this framework that I'm sharing with you is a combined framework for multiple individuals that, you know, ended up completing multiple certifications within a year. Many of them did not have a college degree, and they definitely, if they had a college degree, did not study something that was in the tech field, did not have a computer science degree, information systems degree, did not have an IT degree or anything like that. You know, these were also like all people that needed to complete the exam pretty quickly, to go out there and launch a job hunting process as soon as possible, to start making money as soon as possible. So with that said, what's the origin story of this, Rich? Like, how, like, you know, is this from you? This is actually not from me. I'm going to be very, very, very specific. But, you know, I met a guy who used to be a cook in the military. And he doesn't want to put his face out there to say this, but like, this is a certification heavy racket. The more certifications that you're getting, the more money that you make. That much I do know as a former tech recruiter. So if you take a look at my background is I'm a tech career coach. I started off my career after I landed a history degree. I'll put everything out there. You guys can go out there and see it. I have nothing to hide. And I was a recruiter. I went into tech recruiting basically right after I graduated from school. And then if you guys want to connect with me directly, you can always just go out there and hit me up on Instagram. My handle's What Bad Economy. But like, I started trying to understand from a tech recruiting perspective. I was like, well, we always went for people that have a little bit more certifications. And if you get more certifications, you just end up making more money. So why don't people just get more certifications? And a lot of people told me it's just that the amount of burnout they go through just getting one certification, how much time they have to spend compiling flashcards, how much time they have to go out there and basically do all of that. So I started asking these people, I was like, well, clearly, who are the people that don't have an IT degree? Who are the people that don't have a computer science degree? Who are the people that are getting like 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 certifications in a given year? And those are the people that I basically found that were like crushing it. And the guy that I think influenced me the most was the cook that used to be in the military. He had like a little bit of time left on his career. And then he is actually the gentleman that actually told me like he put together these flashcards. And he basically, this is how he studied for the questions, because he was like, I'm leaving the military. I'm not exactly trying to become a cook at Denny's. So if he grabbed those certifications quickly, like if he grabbed those certifications quickly, it'll kind of be like he kind of would be able to finagle that. Yeah, I was, well, I got my cybersecurity certifications when I was in the military, but he would never really admit that he didn't do any cybersecurity work in the military. But the military is great. Like, you want to learn French, you want to go ahead and learn Spanish, you want to go ahead and learn like any skill. It's basically like freaking college university on steroids, right? Like anything you want to go ahead and learn. I mean, gosh, you want to go out there and start learning how to do karate or rock climbing. There's like all these different things for you to go out there and take advantage of. Such a big fan of the military, the veterans. So he basically was like, I'm leaving the military. Like, for whatever reason, he ended up being like kind of like a cook there. I'm not going to look down on the profession, but he's like, I don't want to do this when I leave the military. But it wouldn't really look right if I left the military, and it's just like, you only have one certification, so you try to grab as many as before he got out. So he basically told me this, and the military learns everything fast. That's actually why I have this. Like, the fastest language learners are also people that come out of the military too. So I interviewed him, and he also showed this to a lot of other people that he knew in the military, and I got to go ahead and meet some of the people from there. I've got to also meet some cybersecurity professionals in Asia, and the reason why I wanted to do that was CompTIA is a global exam, and I think, even looking at the glossary, me as a history major, I read like 500-600 pages like a week for school. Looking at that glossary, my head was spinning. I was going kind of dizzy, right? I'm pretty sure you guys feel the same way, but if I had to do this exam like in French, that would just be that much tougher. They have to do it in a foreign language, so I was actually wondering like how they actually kind of hack the process. And then also some other people that I talked to were like athletes and also single parents that want to get this certification in the shortest amount of time. So the truth of the matter is this, like, I'm going to be totally honest, it's not my framework. I lost count how many people passed using this framework, but these were the people that I interviewed. They used it, they crushed it, and overall, like, I recognize how busy people are with like work, family, children. One kid gets sick, everybody in the house gets sick. This is a certification heavy business. These are harsh times. People are trying to pass this exam in the shortest amount of time possible. The truth about cybersecurity profession is this: more certifications equals more money. More certifications equals more opportunities inside and outside of the company, more promotions, more raises. So like, to answer the question, like, is the CompTIA A+ certification enough to land a job anymore in 2025? Really depends on the job, because not everybody that's going for a CompTIA A+ is going into cybersecurity. There's also people that's like the military that's getting it, right? You also have people that are going into like IT. So people that are like field technicians, think the cable guy, they're also going for it. So it looks really inflated, the numbers of like certification holders. Other tech professionals are like product managers, who I work with a lot, software engineers, tech sales people that sell cybersecurity solutions as a software or as a service. And they're also getting it too. Regardless, is like, and that's actually why the people are like, why did you call it like tech careers and other? Because you have a lot more people that's going for this certification other than just people that are in cybersecurity. So regardless of which career path you end up choosing in the industry as a whole, you always print more cash with more certifications. This is why you need a proven framework to go out there and get as many certifications as possible. And there's so many people in the business that procrastinate for years on getting the additional certifications because of the lack of time. So everything that I'm about to go out there and show you right now is like, these people are utilizing this same framework to bag in like 4, 5, 6, 8 certifications in a given year. Because when people are asking like, is that enough? It's enough to get a job, but the more people that have it, the more the salary rate gets driven down. So the more of the exotic or like the more exclusive certifications that you have, you basically get better jobs that are higher paying. So it's not like with a CompTIA A+ you can't get a job. You will get a job, but salary rates, if you're talking about the bigger roles, you have to get more certifications. And also, that's why I included a list of everything that you needed to go out there and do here. So in the rest of the video, we're going to go ahead and talk about the vocab, how you're going to memorize the vocab words, how we're going to go out there and actually take care of the exam questions, how we're going to go ahead and approach that game. Everything is available for you on school. Again, this map, if you guys think it's going to be helpful, I'm just going to get the subscription. I don't mind giving it up, but if nobody uses it, nobody gives a shit. Nah, I don't know. I think it's cool, but you might just be like, and how is this going to help me? I don't give a shit about this. And like, Evan, you know, but also like test taking strategies. I'm going to talk about that because test taking is a skill. And then lastly, I'm going to go ahead and end it up with like all the different things that you should be doing after you clear the certification, what you should be doing next. I can't wait. See you in school. Don't be late to school. Let's get it. Okay, so the first thing that we want to go ahead and do to grab some quick wins is basically we want to go and memorize the vocabulary words. Why is that? Because a lot of this is going to seem like reading a foreign language to you. When you get access over to the CompTIA A+ certification curriculum, you basically have an outline. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 modules, and at the very bottom there is a glossary. When you click on glossary, this page is going to go ahead and pop up. As of right now, there's 1,221 vocabulary words for you to go ahead and chomp down. And that is a lot. So where do you begin? Because if you know the glossary and you know all the words, even if you get stuck on a question, at least you can deduce which one is the wrong answers and then give yourself the best chance of getting the right answer. So we've taken all this and we just gone old school with it, but with the twist. We've added all of these vocabulary words onto a flashcard app. And as you can basically see here, we're just going to scroll all the way up. You're going to go ahead and see like DOM, pre, 16-bit, 32-bit, all of this. We've added everything onto this spreadsheet right here, as you can go ahead and see. And we've uploaded for you. You can also do this by yourself. We've also uploaded for you onto the Brainscape app. So here, all you got to do is you just got to go ahead and study for it. And they basically just work like digital flashcards. If you have an iPhone, it works on iPhone, it works on Android, and then all you have to do is just basically swipe. So how would you actually put this into action? Well, let's talk about whether or not this is actually an effective strategy in the first place. So coming back over here, let's get to the next slide. 1,200 vocabulary words, and it's necessary for you to know for Network Plus, Security Plus. It's also going to be a foundation for you for the Certified Ethical Hacker if you want to go ahead and take your career to that side of the business. But medical students, law students, MBA students, if you're studying for a foreign language, they always start off with learning the vocab. So if you want to go ahead and pass any type of standardized testing, just know that it's going to be a multiple choice exam. So you need to be able to deduce which one is the best answer and which ones are definitely the wrong answers. So when you put everything into the flashcard, let's go ahead and time it out. You want to get this done in the shortest amount of time. So let's study for about 50 to 100 words per day on digital flashcards. This is actually a tip that was given to us by somebody that, you know, their English was a foreign language. So they actually, I think, had to do double the amount of work because even for an English speaker, this is pretty difficult. This is like pretty difficult, right? So imagine if like, you know, this wasn't even your native language, adds an extra layer of difficulty to it. You want to go ahead and have everything on an alphabetical order, study for 50 to 100 cards per day, and time block for about 30 minutes per day for about 50 to 100 words, and run 5 to 6 5-minute drills. And that way you can memorize 1,200 words in about 12 to 20 days max. So if I'm at work right now, and let's just say I work at Whole Foods or I work in retail, or let's just say I am driving Uber around town, whatever it is, you're busy. You have 30 minutes per day, or, you know, before you go to work, you've got 30 minutes per day. If you go ahead and just swipe your phone like this, in about 5 minutes, you can get to 50 to 100 questions, 100 vocab words pretty simply, especially now that we've had it uploaded for you all into modules and all into these flashcards lists. You can get it done pretty easily. What you want to go ahead and do is you want to keep crossing off all the words that you don't know over on your spreadsheet, which is right here. You can just cross it out, cross it out, cross it out. Okay, I can cross that out. I know that one. I can cross it out and cross it out. And what you're left here with is you're going to be left with a bunch of words that you basically know versus the words that you don't know. We call it the known words versus unknown words. I think that's pretty simple to go out there and knock out. You do this for about 30 minutes a day. And if you double up on the weekends, basically 100 words a day, In 12 days, you'd know 1,200 words. There's 1,221 total, but don't also forget that you should be adding additional words. As you're going through the modules, there's probably some words that you don't know that you want to go ahead and also add into this flashcards. Add it in there so that you actually can go out there and help memorize it. Just keep on focusing on the words that you don't know, and you can keep knocking this thing down. To make it a little bit easier for you, I've also included a little spreadsheet that you can go out there and copy. It's all in the spreadsheet right here. And you just create a Brainscape account, and you can get access to all of these resources here in school. That's basically in the description where it says steal my resources, steal all the resources basically in there, steal all the resources that are in there. Once you get everything in there, well, this is all you have to do. You download the vocabulary flashcards list. We have that already in school. You create a schedule with start dates and basically due dates. I have a soft due date here and a hard due date here, and when you're going to go ahead and start on it. And you just time block, I think 30 minutes a day, and then 1 hour on the weekends. And you set a time frame about 10 to 20 days, right? And set a time to go out there and also add new words that you don't know. But 10% complete means 120 words, 240 words, 300 words, 360. And then you basically just change everything from something that you have to do to something that's just going to go ahead and be done. And then in about 12 to 20 days, the vocab words to all of it. And that's just going to expedite your learning cycle dramatically. All of the resources are basically in the school link that I've already posted up before. You can just get access to all of that there. And now we can go ahead and just move on to the second part of this, which is learning the questions right now, mastering that part of the exam. All right, so the second thing that we have to do right now is go out there and master the questions. So what are we going to do with the questions? Very simple. There are 90 questions to this exam, so we've added some of these exam practice questions over to you. And as you could basically see, we've added these questions completely to, again, the flashcard app, so you can go out there and just make for easier studying. And we've added number one, the first things first is you actually see the question, the multiple choice responses, and then also the correct response. But more importantly, what you're going to see here that's going to help you kind of hack memorizing this is going to be the explanation why it would be this response versus going to be another response, because all of these other responses here are designed to trick you. Again, the exam is designed for you to fail because they want you to go ahead and retake the exam because it helps them print cash, but we aren't going to let that happen because you are going to go ahead and print cash, right? So now that we have the questions and we got the answers, how do we go ahead and actually take care of this? Well, let's go out there and be smart with this. There are about 5 domains, or think about it as 5 categories to the exam. This is pulled directly off the CompTIA website. There's a total of 90 minutes, 90 questions. That's 1 minute per question. And the game was the certification exam was designed for you. What? For you to go ahead and fail. So if you take a look at it, you don't have to be a mathematician to see this. 15% is based on mobile devices, 20% is based on networking, 25% is based on hardware, 11% is based on virtualization and cloud computing, and that's 29% is going to be hardware and networking, network troubleshooting. So that's 29% out of a total of 100. So if we break it down with 90 questions as the absolute total, 25 questions, 25 questions is going to be on hardware and networking, network troubleshooting, which is going to be the most questions that you're going to be asked. But there's going to be so much overlap between what? Hardware, network troubleshooting, networking, and hardware, which is 23 questions right here. So all in, this is way more than 50% of the exam. Then you're left with mobile devices, and then you're left with 10 questions for virtualizations and cloud computing. So what I've seen people actually do that was quite successful is they grab the questions from our question bank, which we have them, okay, and they start with hardware and network first. Then they work their way to mobile. Then they go ahead and work their way to cloud computing. And this is just a suggestion. Obviously, you want to modify this game plan with how your brain flows. But with that said, this was a 14-day roadmap that somebody went ahead and utilized in our program and was very successful in it. This is actually what I love about having a community behind you, because everybody figures out all these different hacks because there's always a smarter way to go ahead and kind of play the game. Spend 5 days on hardware network troubleshooting. This is going to be the toughest part of preparing for the exam, no joke, so pace yourself. You will want to quit and give up, which is normal, and we want to motivate you here in the group, but grind through. You want to spend 3 days on hardware, 2 days on networking. There's going to be so much overlap between essentially these 3 areas that if you spend 10 days just grinding there for about 30 minutes a day to 45 minutes a day, like what we did with the vocab, by the time that you get to like day 11, day 12, you can go out there and hit mobile devices. That's only going to take you 2 days, and this is only going to take you 2 days. Because why? If you take a look at just the number of questions that you guys have, it's like 2 days to go ahead and remember 14 questions, and then 10 questions. There's only very little variation between them. It's not going to be that difficult. So with all that said, other strategies that I would have that's kind of a cheat code is basically this. And this is actually something that we learned from a few of the people that I've met that's taken this from the military. Have 5 cycles in the exam. Cycle 1 time through for about 5 to 10 minutes. So you can just get a better understanding of like, okay, these are the 90 questions that you're going to get. What's the order? Where's what coming in at what point? Cycle 2, do that again very quickly. And then number 3, within about 10, 15 minutes in after that, you want to knock out all the questions that you know. And then cycle 4 is you want to grab the maybes. And then you want to spend about 40 to 45 minutes or the last 30 minutes of the exam on the questions that you just like blanked out, don't know. Why? Because momentum is a huge game. This is what we're going to talk about in phase 4. But momentum is a huge part of this. You want to go ahead and actually reduce the amount of stress that you're having when you're dealing with this exam, because stress is only going to cause your memory to get killed faster. There is like this game is very much mental, and in order for you to go ahead and win, you have to keep your head focused throughout the entire time of 90 minutes. Otherwise, it's going to be, you taking off another half a day of work, you schedule for the other exam, you paying for another exam fee, which is something that we just don't want. So to recap this, there will be days that you feel like quitting, and this is why you actually need a group to go out there and hold you accountable. I'm not leaving anybody behind in this family, but you're also in this business for the long haul, so slow money wins the race, champ. Okay, it's going to get easier when you're grabbing the other certifications, and this is actually the thing that you have to keep on reminding yourself, and I also keep on reminding other people. You're in this game for the long haul. This is setting up the foundation to make it so much easier for you to grab Network Plus and so much easier for you to grab Security Plus. So you're front loading all this hard work now, so you're not going to have to deal with that later on. And stretch out the timeline as much as you need to, because what I'm going to talk about later is a lot of the influencers that are giving out cybersecurity exam advice, they actually have 4-year degrees where they had 4 years of learning this before taking the exam. And a lot of people are doing it in about like 2 months, 3 months, 4 months. So like there's this, we're still cramming, but there is a better way to go ahead and cram. So to recap that, get access to the questions, start crossing out what it is that you already know, and definitely focus more time on the questions that you don't know, and make sure that you are getting access to the flashcards. So next off, let's go out there and talk about how we're going to hack the modules. All right, exam preparation phase 3, study the modules. At some point, you do need to go ahead and actually study the course material. We're not just trying to hack the exam right here. But the traditional approach is like they'll group up like module 1, 2, 3. Group 2 is like module 4, 5, 6. Group 3 is like module 7, 8, 9. If you take a look at this, there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 in terms of the modules. And a lot of times people just start off with like kind of like number 1, and they get lost very, very quickly. So what can we do that's a little bit better, especially now that we have AI backing us up? Well, let's go ahead and take a look. For starters, something that we can go ahead and do is we actually have a list of actually module study guides that you guys can go out there and actually check out. That's actually part of the package as well in terms of your study guide. But we have them from modules 1, 2, 3, all the way up to 9. Something that's really helped out some of our people has been utilizing this on mind maps. So this is called Mapify. I don't know if you guys would find this particularly helpful, but a lot of people have told us that this was absolute game changer. So if you guys think that this would actually help you out, I will include it at no additional charge, but I will also go out there and include it for y'all make sure to go ahead and check this out on Tech Career School. And by all means, you can also go ahead and just ping me right here. I'm going to go and respond to you, whatever it is that you need within reason. But studying for this, like, people need to go ahead and realize something. If you're thinking this looks dated, you're not complaining. This looks dated AF. This looks like something from Windows 95. So if you're thinking like, oh, who made this? Gosh, it is dated. It is 100% dated. And the information is not always provided for you in a format where when you're taking a look at it, it's just like, it just seems so old. Everything in here, right? Like the font, everything. So like, what I do tell people is, let's go ahead and actually just make your life a little bit easier. Let's go ahead and actually get everything onto the study guide right here. So at least you know what it is that you should be focused on, because everything is like a little bit better organized. A lot of people have told me that this study guide has actually helped them out a lot, but getting it, if this would help out, I'm more than happy to go out there and throw it in there, but I don't know. Some people might look at this and be like, that's not going to do anything for me. That's totally fine too. Having this, like, I did see in a study where like, having something mapped out visually like this can help you learn something 60,000 times faster. If it would help out, I'm more than happy to go out there and include it. But the next phase of this is actually doing like a practice exam, and let's crush that. All of this are in the same resources, is in the description, still my resources. Let's go ahead and crush this next part, and then let's get ready to take the exam afterwards. Okay, so this is phase 4, preparing for the exam, and let's just go and kind of backtrack what it is that we've done so far. So we've already learned the vocab. We basically need to access the flashcards, and we're going to start with hardware network troubleshooting. You can rearrange it to whichever order you want. And then we have the study guides that are basically here from module 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And then now let's talk about doing a practice exam 1, 2, 3, 4. And why don't we just go ahead and schedule the real thing? Let me tell you something, fam. This is actually where a lot of people fail, because ultimately, we want you to take this exam as soon as possible, because the next things that's coming up is like, you want to get your resume ready, portfolio, LinkedIn, cover letter, start applying, start interviewing. And I'm going to be adding in all these additional resources for y'all very quickly. Rest assured, it's all coming. It's all coming. I spent like a lot of time on this, if you guys haven't already noticed. But I wanted to give you guys everything possible to go out there and knock this thing out the first round, because most people do take it at least 3 or 4 times before they pass. And it's such a waste of time, and it's even a bigger waste of money, which we don't want. So let's talk about like number 4, how to simulate like a real exam. I would recommend for people to do the following. Like, do 3 30-minute sessions, break like 30 questions, 30 minutes, break for 30 minutes, 30 questions in 30 minutes, break for 30 minutes, 30 questions in 30 minutes. Something that you can just start off the bat with is like 2 45-minute sessions, like 45 questions in 45 minutes, break for 30 minutes, 45 questions in 45 minutes, and then take a break. And then like ultimately work your way where you do 90 questions in 90 minutes, break for 1 day, 90 questions in 90 minutes, break for 1 day, 90 questions in 90 minutes, break for 1 day. So why do you want to do that? Well, you want to do that because like a lot of times the practice exams, what you're going to basically find is this. There's basically only really 3 outcomes. The first one, you did good. Then you did kind of not good. And then you did good. The second time, another outcome is, well, you did kind of like bad, you got better, and then you got better. And then the third one is kind of like, well, from the very get-go, is like good all 3 times. That's what we want for you. Hopefully, I think you want that for yourself too. But it's a 90-minute exam, champs. That's a long time to be taking tests in a test setting with a timer, sitting upright and lying down on an iPhone using a digital flashcard app. A lot of times people don't realize how much stamina, like that doesn't feel like a lot of time, but also when you're just sitting in there like that, it is a long time. So you want to do a practice exam before you waste your money, because again, the exam was designed for you to fail. It was designed for you to fail. So like, and you don't want to fail. You want to pass this, right? You want to grab as much momentum as possible, and test taking in a time setting is a mental game as it is like a memory game. So that 90-minute timer, as it's moving on like that, it was designed to go out there and introduce an added layer of stress, because unless you're telling me this is like a really in-demand restaurant where, sometimes you go to like a really nice restaurant and they say like, you guys have 90 minutes to eat and then afterwards you guys got to get up on out of here. Unless you're basically telling me that, there's really no reason why they need to simulate this type of experience for you guys. Like, in my opinion, it's like, yeah, this place is going to be open for the next 8-9 hours. I paid the fee. I should be able to sit here and look up at the ceiling for the next 8-9 hours if I wanted to. Now, is that to say like most people are going to take up the whole 90 minutes? Probably not. So here's what I recommend for people. It's a lot of pressure, focusing on one question at a time every 60 seconds. You don't want to go ahead and do that. A better way to go about it is going to be trying to take this approach. And I think I've already referenced this already. So let me show you. Cycle off 5 cycles. Cycle 1, review the entire exam just to get a lay of the land. What's question number 1 all the way what question 90 is looking like. Cycle number 2, review the entire exam again. Cycle number 3, go out there and knock out all the answers, questions that you already know. Cycle number 4, go out there and grab the maybes. Cycle number 5, focus on the remaining questions that you don't know. Why is that? Because most of the answers can be found in the other questions that's going to help you remember how to answer another question if you study the vocab flashcards. So you can essentially use your exam as a cheat sheet if you know the vocab to it. Okay, because if you go ahead and focus it on any other way, and trust me on this, test taking is a skill. It is a freaking skill. A lot of people are not good at test taking, but like test taking is a skill. Okay, like I'm going to get back to this slide in a second. If you focus on it like the other way, which is like, oh, I'm going to do one question in 1 minute like this. It's like one question, 1 minute. Oh, I either know it, I don't know it. The second question, oh shoot, I know it. Oh my God, I don't know this one. Second question, I don't know this one. Oh my gosh, I don't know. What you're doing is when you are at the test site, a lot of the times you already have adrenaline that's like flowing through your blood. Like it's already flowing in. That's going to kill your memory cycle. So you're like, oh my gosh, oh, it's okay, I'm going to give up. I'm just going to come back. I'm just going to take it another time. This is actually how they make a lot of their money, is people come back and they take the exam again. We don't want to go ahead and do that. You don't want to go ahead and do that, okay? Because that's what people go through, is this conventional strategy of like, oh shoot, what was the answer to this again? I know this. Stress level goes up. Memory starts dying off. Okay, I know this. Question number 2. Oh shoot, what was the question? And then it's like, oh my gosh. Then the second one is like da 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 da. And you don't want to go ahead and do that at all. Okay. The faster you get your brain warmed up, you want to go ahead and exert some degree of control in setting the tone. Your brain is a muscle, and the more questions you knock out, the more you're actually going to go ahead and remember. So when you knock out, it's like, okay, 90 questions. All right. Shit. Some of this I remember, some of this I didn't remember. But you're going to at least remember 30 of them. This is actually why studying the network, studying like hardware network is actually so important in the beginning, right? So it's like, okay, I knocked out 30. That still leaves 60. You're going to be able to utilize a lot of the other clues that's already on the exam. And because you know the definition, it's going to help you game the system a little bit. And as long as you're working it down, you want to leave 45 minutes. But that's a very, very long time. So to give yourself the best chance of passing, I would just go ahead and recommend for people to usually go ahead and do this at least twice before they take the real thing. And just to let you guys know something too, we actually host these exams too in the school community where you have actually all these resources. And take as many practice exams as you need. It's no additional charge. But there's a lot of these people struggle with standardized tests. Maybe you heard of them: Richard Branson, Steve Jobs, Einstein, Winston Churchill. Maybe that's why he lost all his hair. But and I pulled this list up. These 4 guys up from ChatGPT. They're the first 4 people to pull up, not in any particular order. So if you're feeling like, oh my gosh, like I just don't get this. Like, don't do that. Don't do that at all. The only thing left for you to go ahead and do now is actually phase five of this, which is actually getting ready to take the exam. And I'm going to tell you what you can be doing while you're waiting for the exam results. Okay, now assuming that you actually go ahead and pass the exam, these are the next things that you need to do with, like there is an off chance that you do fail, and should that happen again, you should just go ahead and retake the exam, right? But option number one is you start applying immediately. Option number two is you study some more. Option number three is you actually just go out there and do both. So what do I mean by studying some more? I mean, there's kind of three things that you can do. You should go ahead and prepare for the job hunt, which is like update the resume, update the LinkedIn, applying and networking, getting ready for your round one interviews, round two interviews, round three interviews, so you can go out there and start the job. But also at the same time, to go out there and move up the ranks, you should be preparing for your Network Plus, or if you want to, you can go direct to Security Plus, Certified Ethical Hacker. Part of our program is you do access to this as a bundle, but some people want to go ahead and hold off. Is the CompTIA A plus enough to go ahead and actually get a job? I'm going to answer that question in a little bit. But what I always recommend for people is actually both. Start the job and start collecting additional certifications. And which is coming soon to school. I'm going to have resume templates, LinkedIn profile templates. As you could basically see here in the guide, I have, like, after all this is done, resume templates. I'm going to start adding links and additional resources all over here for y'all. Everything from resume, LinkedIn, cover letter, and just utilizing this as a checklist where it's just like the more done that you have, you just know to go off to the next thing. I think it's also very helpful for people when sometimes life happens and they're like, oh gosh, I was on my grind for 8 days and then somebody in my family or somebody got sick and then I got sick and then, like, what am I supposed to do again? You don't really have to worry about that when you're if you have access to a checklist like this, right? But to go ahead and actually recap for you, like, coming soon to school is I'm going to have the Network Plus, Security Plus, Certified Ethical Hacker Guide, and more. Sky's honestly the limit. So as long as, you can keep grabbing more certifications, which is going to help you secure more raises, promotions, and job opportunities, which is what we want to go out there and see. But I'll recap for you right now the traditional approach versus the new approach. Kind of what I like to think about is like hard mode versus easy mode to securing multiple cybersecurity certifications. Like, hard mode right now is like the traditional path is like you study for the modules, which is like you enroll in a tech boot camp or a certificate program, or you go out there and do self-study, but you have to go through the modules yourself. You take the exam, you fail, you retake the exam, or you pass on the first try, and hopefully you do. Right? Then you prepare for the job hunt by yourself, and then you procrastinate. Really, where that leads to is like you procrastinate on additional certifications. And this is a certification heavy racket, because the amount of burnout that you went through and the time and the frustration, you just, like, you have so much trauma that you don't do it, so that effectively keeps you poor. Now, like, our approach is a little bit different, but it's like, let's prepare for the exam first. Let's study for the modules with AI. Let's take the exam, and then let's get ready to do the job hunt. But you're taking the exam with a proven framework to help you secure an extra 6 to 8 certifications a year, depending on your career path while you're working full time. So that's actually setting you up in a position that's going to help you print cash, which is, why we're offering all these additional resources once you actually get access into it in school. So like study guides for Network Plus, Security Plus, Ethical Hacker, resume, LinkedIn templates, job hunting resources, so much more is coming. You just got to communicate with me. What is it that you need? Our team can go out there and get it on for you. What's in Tech Career School? Well, 1,200 plus cybersecurity digital flashcards for starter, CompTIA A plus test questions, study guides, modules 1 through 9, mock practice exams, I host regular coaching sessions. I'm pretty accessible on there. And if you think this deck would actually help out, by all means, just let me know. And most importantly of all, if you guys think this would be helpful, I'm more than happy to go out there and share it. Some people told me that it was like great. Some people told me they didn't really care for it. You let me know. Ultimately, I'm basically here for y'all. So I would go out there and basically see you in school. Don't be late to school. Don't be late to school. I'm going to go out there and actually talk to you guys all very, very soon.